Welcome to Valentina Design Universe. I am Valentina Cirasola. I'm your host. Have you ever thought what is the difference between sound and noise? And how does the noise or how does music affect our space, our health, our mind? I would like you to take a moment to listen to this very pretty songs. The composer and the singer is Italian, but in one of these songs she will sing in Swahili, and the next song will be English. So let's hear about her. Studio, please. So we've heard a very pretty song. Noise and sound are two different things. Sound is a measurable information and travels on waves. Noise is just what we know noise is. Travels through the floor and bounces off the walls. Now, these two things can affect us in life, our sleep and our concentration. So let's hear the second song. Sound is a personal perception. Sound is something that makes us feel good. We just heard two songs that to my ears are very pretty. I'm sure they will be to your ears as well. Noise comes from outside. It's something that will disrupt our concentration, that will disrupt our sleep, and will keep us sometimes awake. This happens to people who live in major cities, like it happened to me. Last month I went on business in a city up north, and at nighttime I couldn't sleep because there was noise of police cars, sirens, ambulance, and some people who had a few drinks at nighttime, so they were shouting in the street. So for 1 week I lost my sleep, and when you lose sleep for a long time, that can affect the rest of your living. So now, let's say sound is something that we can, sound, first of all, it is a pretty thing that we hear, but noise isn't. In noise, we can do things in our environment that will be kind of concealed or kept at a minimum, or we can buffer the noise with some other things. For instance, here on my stage, I have a suggestion of what we can do to buffer noise. We can add, first of all, as I said before, sound travels through the floor and bounces off the walls. So we can, first of all, use a hardwood floor to buffer the noise, the sound of noises, or we can use cork floor, which I love. Cork floor is the best. But also we can have baskets scattered in the area of the house that produces, or where the noises are. We can have pillows, upholstered chairs and furniture, good window treatments, water, like a fountain is considered a white noise and covers up the noises. Also, we can have bookcases or pictures without glass. All of these are suggestions of what to do with noises around you and how to keep it at minimum. You can also have wood branches, like I have made them here, wood branches that could be taken from the sea, like beech wood or anything that is natural, or you can make your own artistic branches and you can lay around in the corners of the homes. But then my guest tonight will tell me or tell us what to do with other things other than wood and pillows and basket, what to do with other remedies. And she is an intuitive healer. Her name is Brooke Baggett, and here she is. Welcome to the show, Brooke.
Thank you. Thank you, Valentina. Thanks for having me.
This is a pleasure to have you here, and especially because I want to know all about, first of all, what is an intuitive healer?
Well, that's a good question, and maybe a little bit difficult to answer. But I think what the bottom line is that since my childhood, I have grown up experiencing life differently than other people. And what I mean to say is my 5 senses, the sense of sight and smell and touch and taste, seems to interpret the world differently in a more expanded way than what usually other people see and experience and feel. And so...
So do you feel things?
I do.
Okay.
Which was very confusing as a child. It's in my family line, though, and so my father had also these instincts and awarenesses, and on my grandmother as well, his mother, she had pretty powerful instinct, and so, you know, I talked with them as I was coming into my awarenesses. It was from an early age, but I didn't realize what I was seeing wasn't what everyone else was seeing.
So this is a gift you have. Not everyone can have this gift, right?
I don't know. I think that everybody has instincts and everybody has awarenesses beyond what maybe most of the world might imagine or accept. But my experiences were maybe louder than what other people experience. And I also was particularly interested, you know, in what I was seeing, because I would learn things about people. And I could feel their pain or their happiness, or I could feel if they were hiding something. So it was useful, you know, in a way for me to navigate, you know, around my social groups growing up in school, but also confusing. I had to be able to determine what was them that I was feeling versus what was me. And that took a lot of training with other healers and energy works and things. So a lot of exploration to be able to come to a greater understanding of what I could offer with what I experienced and how I saw the world, my worldview.
So I imagine this is a kind of a very difficult thing to have, because I imagine there's a lot of criticism around things that you can't see, right?
Sure.
It's something inside of you, and is a gift, a natural gift, and I'm sure you went through a lot of criticism from people who say, like, what is she saying? Or what is she sees? Or, right?
Well, I think initially for myself, I was probably the most critical, because my mind wants to, like everybody in the Western culture, sort of attach to structure and you know, what we know to be true. And so it's very difficult for me to have experiences that were like precognizant, you know, where I would maybe have a dream about something before it happened, or where I could feel what somebody else was feeling. It was difficult for me to, you know, really understand that. And I was very sort of critical of my experiences and what I was seeing and feeling for a long time. But as I continued on working and training with other people who do this work, I learned, you know, that the skills that I have are valid. And so as my confidence grew, I really don't attract people into my practice who have an attitude of negativity. They might be hesitant and they might really want me to prove it to them. And just by being in a session and doing the work, it unfolds and they experience it, because it's what I work with is what is working for the highest good of the person that I'm working through. So the words that I choose, it's not me choosing them, it's like it's coming in through me. So it's the right words for that person and the right words for them at that moment, so that they can understand what I'm saying. So I don't get a lot of critics coming through, you know, once I put aside my own inner critic.
Right, that's good.
Yeah.
So tell me about the noise. Can you know, sometimes when I do a lot of writing, especially at night, and when I passed the time that my clock should go to bed, it is still awake. I have things, people in my head talking. How can you, I call that the committee. You know, the committee in my head is like, it tells me, oh, tomorrow you have to do this, tomorrow you have to do that. Why don't you change a chapter? Why don't you do that blog? Or what? Those are people talking in my head. It's noise. To me, it's noise. How can you, I'm now saying, get rid of the noise, external noise that are around us, or the internal noise that we have inside of us, but how can you minimize them? Is there a remedy for that?
Well, I think that I know a lot about having that internal noise, because I would have my own thoughts and then I would also feel other people's thoughts. So that was rather noisy. It's like having multiple radio stations on at the same time. So for me, I had to learn how to like strengthen my own boundaries. So some of that might be about, if you exercise and you move your body and the blood is moving through, your muscles and you just become sort of more solid in your own self. I think that helps for people to sort of be able to stay inside of themselves and let that noise of the outside shut off. There are, things that you can do. One of the things I think that's probably the most poignant is aromatherapy. Because your 5 senses, they filter through your brain, except for the sense of smell. The 5 senses go through an area that's like a grand central station in your brain. And it sort of makes sense of what you're picking up on and your past reference and context for your experience. The sense of smell goes straight to the amygdala. So if you're having an experience of something that is like, I have too much to do, here's my list, the committee's talking, you can use aromatherapy. And what happens with aromatherapy when you're having that sense of smell and you're breathing in an aroma or diffusing, putting in a diffusion aroma, then your experience cannot be simultaneously thinking about or worrying about or getting frustrated about anything else.
Because you smell something.
It's that area of the brain only.
Exactly.
Sense of smell or thoughts.
Okay.
So you have the sense of smell, you're in that focus.
I love that.
And it also has the power to shift the emotion for the better.
In fact, I did notice that when I have some scents on. Scents is something distracts me from thoughts and from noises. You're absolutely right. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
So tell me about, I've heard about these essential oil I know nothing about, but what are they?
Well, essential oils are plant extracts, and it's from, the leaves or the flowers or the bark or the rind or the roots. Any different part of the plant might be distilled. When it's done properly, it's distilled at a specific temperature that's right for that plant in order to extract the maximum amount of therapeutic constituents. And so it is a massive amount of plant material through a cool steam, and then the oil will rise up to the top. And it's pretty remarkable. It takes, like, depending on the plant, hundreds or thousands of pounds of plant material to get, just a few pounds of essential oil. So it's very concentrated and very potent.
So how is that different from the practice you might have in your office?
Like botanical medicine or herbal medicine?
Right.
So herbal medicine would be maybe herbs that are boiled and then you drink the tea. Or maybe it's the herb material itself extracted into alcohol, so a solvent. That is just a certain amount of plant material. It's not a lot. The concentration of the essential oil and what comes out, the therapeutic constituents, is so profoundly different. It is so strong and concentrated. So for instance, if you have 1 drop of essential oil and you inhale it, it's going to go inside of your body and be in every cell in your body within a matter of seconds. Whereas if you are taking an herb, whether it's a liquid tincture or a capsule or something like this, then it has to go through the digestive system, and it's only a little bit of herb, just as much as can be in that capsule, you know? So it's much more powerful. I've switched my practice, actually. I don't use the botanical medicines that I used to. I've switched over to essential oils for everything.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. So is that powerful?
That powerful, yeah.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
So I know there are maybe a variety of thousands of variety of these oils.
Sure.
So how do we know which is good and which is not? I mean,
that's a
I know we can find it anywhere, I think.
Yes, they are available everywhere now.
Right.
They're so popular.
Yeah.
And there's a good reason. Even oils that are not that good will still have some effect, but it is extremely important to understand the difference, and that's why it's really important to work with somebody who understands, a practitioner who really gets what essential oils are about.
So if we get the wrong kind, let's say, the ones that is not so good quality, could it have side effect?
So what you would see would maybe be a bioaccumulation.
Which is?
So it means your body would take in something that it doesn't need. So for instance, if you're using hundreds or thousands of pounds of plant material and you're diffusing it down to a few pounds of essential oil, that's very concentrated. If that plant was grown in soil that had chemical pesticides or fertilizers, that's concentrated in your essential oil. And a lot of companies, for the end result, to stretch their bottom line. Maybe they're going to add synthetic scent. This is not uncommon. It's very common, actually. Or they will add chemical extenders, or they will add carrier oils. So pure essential oil, finding a really good one is very rare. The FDA does not regulate essential oils, which is something that's very important to understand. The one thing that they regulate is that for an oil to be labeled pure or therapeutic grade, it has to have 5% pure essential oil in it.
Oh, wow.
So 95% of what's in there could be junk. And unfortunately, it's not uncommon that it is.
So how do we learn about this? Just through a person like you, right?
Yeah. There are practitioners, you know, who have a better understanding and would be able to guide you, because there's a lot of applications of essential oils to support your body systems that are pretty profound, you know. So yes, you would want to go with somebody who has an understanding. There are, in the entire world of essential oils, there's 4 different gradings. There's grade A essential oils, and those are the therapeutic grade that are organically grown, and those are the most clean and potent, and that's what you want. And they are, unfortunately, also the most rare. Not a lot of companies will carry that. And then the grade B is going to have synthetics, possibly, or chemical fertilizers in the process, and then again, that's in your oil. Grade C is going to be something that's like the food grade, and then which is what you would find in like mouthwash or something like this, you know. And then the grade D is floral water, which is the leftover water that the essential oil actually bubbled up through when you were doing the original distillation.
Oh, wow.
So there's no oil really in it, just maybe tiny little molecules.
Right. So when we take these essential oil, I mean, we just put it on, right? Or we spread it on our body whenever we need it. Is there any side effect?
Well, that's a good question, because you'll see on a lot of the bottles that you might buy out there in the world that it would say to not apply topically.
Oh,
and the reason for that is, you know, essential oils are molecularly small. If you were to have 1 drop of essential oil absorb into your body, you would have like 40,000 molecules of essential oil in every cell in your body. And essential oils will pass through the skin, and they'll pass through the blood-brain barrier. They can do that. So you really want to make sure that it's clean. So there are a lot of essential oils on the market that are marketed for aromatherapy, but they specifically say not to put it on topically.
Wow.
If you don't want to put it on topically, you don't want to inhale it either, because that's passing through into your brain and getting into your organs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's pretty important about quality. It's really important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I really have not, I mean, without knowing all that there is behind the essential oils, I had no idea that it could have been used from the soil that has been sprayed with chemicals and pesticides. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
It's really awful.
Yeah. You want to make sure, you know, if you want to do your own research and you'd rather not go to somebody who knows.
Yeah.
Of course, that's a lot of time and energy.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do, you want to make sure that your company would allow you to come to their farms, if they even have farms. A lot of essential oil companies just are rebottling. They're buying the oil from farmers here and there, and then they're rebottling. And the problem with that is that they don't have control over the process, over the soil, over even the species of plant that's used.
Wow.
You know, they're just labeling it. They're rebottling it.
So is there a particular time of the day to apply these essential oil, or any time is good?
If it's a good oil, all day, every day.
All day, every day.
It's so lovely. I mean, the oil itself is very potent. And for instance, I have an au pair who lives in my home. And she's the second au pair that I've had. And so the girls, you know, they rotate through in our town. They get together and they rotate through, and they hang out with each other, you know, because they're here in community and supporting each other. So my first au pair, she left the country, and the new girl came in. And when the new girl came, she got together with some of the girls who knew my previous au pair. And the moment she stepped in the car, they told her, "You smell just like Veronica," you know.
My.
And it's not that she was using the oils in particular, but she's in the environment. And I'm diffusing oils all the time, and I'm using oils on my children, I'm using oils on myself. So just being in the environment, she was having, those molecules were coming to her, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, it's very potent, and you can use them, you know, as little or as much as you want. But a lot of my client base, when they start, they just go hog wild, because, I mean, it's so much fun and it's so empowering.
Right. And so you can change from, you can change mood as well.
Absolutely.
Right, with these essential oils.
Yeah.
If you feel down, you want to feel a little more excited, you change. And
absolutely.
right?
There's lots of research that shows that, you know, essential oils can be more powerful than antidepressants. You know, essential oils can influence
that's the thing.
your
I always,
happiness.
you know, I always reinforce this concept that most of the time it's we believe we have something and we take medication.
Yeah.
And often it's not true. We can get around by using the right colors, the right essential oil, the right environment, and it's like there are so many other solutions than taking pills that the body doesn't need.
Yeah, my focus in my practice is absolutely about personal empowerment, and I like to teach my clients about that.
And I would love to hear a lot more in the future.
Great.
Right now, seems like the show is going to come to an end.
Okay.
And I'm so happy I had you here.
Thank you.
I've learned so much, and I do plan to of learning a little more. So I just want to thank my guest for being here, Brooke Baggett, and my fabulous crew that tonight are just been fantastic. I just want to thank everyone, and stay tuned for next time. And as I say all the time, if you change your colors, you change your energy of your life, and you will be happier. So, bye. Mwah. Peace, love.